Thank you.
Whether it was as a player, a coach, or an administrator, he was a great rugby league man in every facet. Paul Broughton fondly remembered here today. They're underway on the Gold Coast. Kickoff down to Jerome Hughes. He'll give it off to Christian Welch. And the Storm skipper for 2023 brings it out to play it here, 10 away from his own line. It's warm. It's more than warm. It's hot on the Gold Coast. It'll get hotter as well as the afternoon works its way towards Brisbane and also Townsville. The Cowboys are in action next up against the Warriors. See it all live right here on Fox League. Here's Grant jumping out of dummy half. Takes it beyond the 40 in a good opening set here for Melbourne. This game today will be played in 4 20-minute quarters. Drinks break halfway through each half and an extended half-time break as well. Pezzett with his first clearing kick in the NRL, not a bad one, puts them under pressure going back. Catch there made by Philip Sami, who has been playing in the centres, moves back to the wing today with the injury last week to Jojo Fafita.
Yeah, terrific start from the Melbourne Storm. We just get an early sight now as the Titans come out this left-hand side. Any player that's going to be left on the deck in these conditions, and the Melbourne Storm will attack you. Harry Grant out of dummy half, followed by Nick Meaney. Some easy yards over the halfway line. Some real ominous signs early for Harry Grant.
Randall at dummy half comes back to Fasua Malaawi, who play it here 15 short of the halfway line. This playing surface again. Z-Bus Super Stadium, just pristine. Could be a better playing surface in any code around the world. Absolutely a green card. Meaney comes on this right-hand side. Chance here for Warbrick to bring it forward, and he'll play it there just outside the Melbourne 30. Remus Smith comes away from Isaac Liu, met though by Mo Foddle-Wake-up, and the starting side today with Aaron Clark going back to the bench for Justin Holbrook. Carried by Eli Katoa, still finding his way into this Melbourne system of playing as Grant shows it, almost got through a gap. Fafita closed the door on him from the A defender position. Now Meaney goes through the hands of King to Hughes, and that left edge brought it forward through Loiero, and a quick play. The ball has Grant down the short side. Pezzett a kick, chance for Coates, flying though as Brimson untouched. Justin Olam puts a hand on him and forces the tackle there, and they'll work it away from that corner of the field. Tough one here. The Melbourne Storm looking to get off their line and really jam the Titans' carriers.
Well, your defence has got to be a lot better there from this Titans side. They went 80 metres in that one set. Put a kick on the end of it. Just see how quick they get off their line now to start this defensive set now for the Melbourne Storm. Field position has come quite comfortably early in the game.
Well, there's plenty of criticism during the week as the Titans come left-hand side, boys.
And some space. Brian Kelly is back in the NRL and running across the halfway line. Links up with Brimson. Brimson for the corner. Back on the inside. Khan Pereira. He scores. The Titans running and gunning on the Gold Coast. What a try. Melbourne compressed their defensive line. They shifted left, the Titans, and they found some huge space down this left wing.
Yeah, wonderful vision from the Titans. We got to look in the set prior. This time they pull the trigger and they come up trumps down this left-hand side. Beautiful little play there from Fafita before they come down that left-hand side through Kelly, able to get the ball back inside to AJ Brimson. Does terrifically well to find his teammate, Pereira. What a try-scoring machine he is, particularly through the junior grades, and he's starting this way in his top grade. And what was all a high-tempo start blocker for the Melbourne Storm, and the Titans have hit back.
Yeah, he's a hard man to keep up with, isn't he? AJ Brimson exploded onto the ball. I'll tell you what I did like about that. Didn't try to run too far. Got the ball back on the inside. Now, we're seeing their outside backs, how quick they are. Pereira it is that gets the try, but Brimson doesn't try and do too much. Breaks out of the tackle, positions his man back on the inside perfectly. And the Titans.
Some really good coaching, particularly with Dave Fafita, who we know is so dynamic with his ball running and breaking tackles. He draws so much defence in. This time just able to play a little short ball early before the line. Just created the space out on this left-hand side.
You mentioned he's a speedster. 25 tries in the Host Plus Cup and the QRL competition last year. of that man, Lofi Khan Pereira. Behind the uprights, a mistake from Tanner Boyd, and the Titans, who gave up some easy meters in the first couple of sets from Melbourne, respond in a big way, Lara Pitt.
Absolutely, and AJ Brimson, he was actually super confident and positive before this game against none other than Melbourne. He said he was actually looking forward to this challenge and showing the rest of the competition that in fact they have done the hard work. They are a more resilient outfit, the Titans, in this season. That's a strong start from the Titans in what you've already said, boys, very hot out there in the middle. It says 29, it's way hotter than that.
Believe that. The Titans shield themselves from the scorching sun. Here at Cbus Super Stadium, they lead 6 points to 0. Fotuaika brings it back out. You mentioned the role played there by David Tafita, Corey. They did think about moving him to the right-hand side to potentially spot up on Jonah Pezet, playing his first game in the NRL quite obviously this afternoon. He's a tall half, not a big half. He weighs 80 kilograms, and they go towards his edge right now. He was there involved in that tackle, but they decided to leave Fafita on the left-hand side, and that combination that produces a result first up.
Yeah, without doubt, it's his favourite side. He went to the right-hand side last year before moving back to the left, albeit from Beau Fermor doing his ACL. But the combination that he may be able to spark up with Foran is certainly going to help the Titans.
Here is Boyd taken down by Jerome Hughes. He got a shove from Tino Fa'asuamaleaui as well did Hughes. And they give away a penalty for the contact after the kick.
He could be in a bit of strife here, Hughes.
Just hold on. No, it's foul play.
Tap.
Hang on. Time off. They've reviewed it.
Atkins wants some time off because it wasn't a wrapping of the arms in any fashion from Jerome Hughes.
Could be a real huge
Time
call
on.
here to set
2 points.
as the Titans opt to take the 2 points and potentially go to an 8-point lead. But you're spot on. There was no wrapping motion at all from Hughes when he went and put some pressure on.
I reckon they would have been told to put pressure on Tanner Boyd after his kicking game last week against the Saints. It was pretty ordinary. We did that game was. I reckon that might have been in the game plan there from Craig Bellamy. Put pressure on him early, try and rattle him.
I think beyond full time, Jerome Hughes will have an issue with that contact, and a long time ago that might have seen him in the sin bin.
Well, shoulder charge for sure. There was no wrapping motion at all. You could see what Jerome Hughes was trying to do, as Bocker just touched on. And he's just got to go through, got to execute it right.
A very kickable one for the man, as you said. Did have a tough week last week against the Dragons. A couple of kicks out on the full, on kicks for line off the back of penalties for Tanner Boyd. Here he is, though, with the ball on the tee. Adds 2 more points. They lead the Melbourne Storm 8 points to 0. Melbourne coming off that loss last week with the Bulldogs. Craig Bellamy a little agitated, unsurprisingly, at 8-0 after going down 26-12 to the Bulldogs last week, where at times they just didn't match the Bulldogs for speed. And I think we've seen an example of that already, with that slashing first try scored by Khan Pereira.
Fight.
Not quite 8 minutes gone. We'll have a little drinks break around about the 20-minute mark. Awkward kick here. Foran. It's going to call him eventually. He has to bring it back himself. No strapping around that right quad or knee after the knock he took in that round 1, the win against the Tigers. As Kelly takes a carry. They're back almost at the 20. Back to the middle of the field where Suamaleaui, 3 plays gone, still finds himself midfield at the red stripe. Ooh. Isaac Liu across there to Stimson. He was met in a solid tackle.
Jukebox is back.
Justin Holland playing all the hits. He's back a little earlier than anticipated, Justin Holland, after that broken arm he suffered in the pre-season down there in Geelong against the Roosters. He's back here today, and Joe Stimson and others will know all about it on that far side of the field in the first half. Coates brings it away back from the sideline. He'll play it here inside the 20 as Warbrick takes a run and picks up barely 5 metres.
Some really good ball movement coming out of their own end from the Titans, just putting 1 and 2 passes together just to get the middle forwards of the Melbourne Storm on their travel. You see in the replay box, a Jukebox with his first hit of the afternoon.
Just jamming in on that left-hand side. I'll know all about him by the time we get to full-time here today. King with a carry. And inside the 40, Hughes, spiralling talk, didn't strike it exactly as he would have liked. It bounces on a one-hopper down to Brimson. Thought about coming out to Khan Pereira. Hughes was there again to put a shot on the fullback. They begin at their own 30. Here is Rafiana Khan Pereira. See every touch, whether it's a 5-metre run or a 15-metre run or more when he scores that try earlier in the game. He is just so quick across the turf. Knock on here, though. Kelly puts it down in a carry.
Yeah, he's had a long way off too, Kelly, coming back from suspension.
Clock on, Melbourne feed.
Pretty hot out there, as we already mentioned there. And there's a hand over the top. Gee, I wonder whether they would challenge that.
Clock's on.
There was a bit of a rip at the ball there.
Comes away from Kelly without protest from the Gold Coast Titans. To give Melbourne a chance, put some pressure here.
Let's go, AJ.
On the Titans line from well inside their territory to begin this set.
Clock off. Hold. Break.
Hughes
Don't do that, Jerome.
with the feed. Tummied feed. And now Olam standing at a tackle, gives it away to Pezzett, who finds some space. He'll run away and score on debut. What a moment for the 20-year-old. Wasn't much happening, but he got an offload, a little dummy, and Jonah Pezzett in game one was away.
Well, what a dream start for the young man's career, able to score on his debut game. Pezzett out on that left-hand corner, but put it down to the strong running from Justin Olam. Nothing doing off the scrum, just picked out Tanner Boyd and ran straight at him. Here's the error here from Kelly. Off the back of that, they just have a one-out run. Pezzett parks himself out on the left-hand side. Olam just picks out Tanner Boyd, asks him to defend him, wasn't able to do so. Comes up with a beautiful little offload and then just stands up shop, no ends, and just pins it to the corner for his first try blocker.
I'll tell you what, the great thing about that was the way he backed himself. Of course, it was the offload from Olam. The show and the go. He beat Shop on the outside and then Pacey took off Pezzett and scores. That shows plenty of confidence for the young fellow. He's been in the system for a fair while now. Backs himself. We see the Melbourne Storm hit back. What about the footwork here? Just got him standing flat-footed there and then backs himself. Show and go, and he takes off.
Yeah, he put Aaron Shop in the chair, didn't he? And from that point, he couldn't match it with the speed of Pezzett, who's taken over this backup halves role, filled by Cooper Johns over the past couple of seasons for the Melbourne Storm. He scores on debut. The 20-year-old boy pretty pumped about it as well. Barely 11 minutes into his NRL career. Sensational scenes.
One of the great rule changes in rugby league of modern times is to be able to bring the scrum to the centre of the field, which then just isolates defenders and has the ability for what we just saw. Justin Olam just picking out a defender, needed a little help from Stinson, who was unable to do so.
And now Mooney from out wide. He will raise the flags. Terrific kick from the sideline for Nick Meaney. Almost 13 gone. It's a 2-point game here. The Titans 8, the Melbourne Storm 6, Lara.
What a moment for that young man, Jonah Pezzett. His family, they've all made the trip up here from Newcastle to support him. His mum, Emma, his dad, Troy, and his sister and partner were all there for his jersey presentation at the Storm camp last night. 35 in total, family and friends, including his grandparents, who are actually based up here. We know he moved to the Storm for an opportunity in 2020, and now they've locked him up to the end of 2025.
Even his manager, Braithen Astor, his manager to the Stars, of course, is here watching the rookie go around. He'll be pretty pumped about what he just saw, BA, won't he? Welch it is. Brings it out here. Try apiece. The penalty goal, the difference at the moment. A shoulder charge effort by Jerome Hughes on Tanner Boyd. King to play it. Into this left-hand side where Kamakamitha, back from a foot tendon injury, missed his presence in the middle of the field to begin this new season. And Eli Katoa, not much happening there. Picked off by Kieran Foran. Grant out of dummy half. Was it knocked there by Katoa or Fafita? No, they're going to say it was Eli Katoa's hand forced the ball forward. Simple mistake down a short
From the middle,
side there.
fellas.
Grant jumping out of dummy
Tanner.
half.
Yeah, the football IQ of Grant had him at all ends.
Scrum
Look
line.
down this left-hand side, and he goes back to play across to his little halves partner in Hughes and Katoa, who just played the ball, just got himself in the wrong position. If Hughes was able to catch that, they were away down this right-hand side. Great vision from Harry Grant.
We need a lock. Yeah, it's fine.
Saw his reaction when Katoa realised it
Isaac.
wasn't intended for him.
It's going to hit in.
Couldn't help himself though, reacting.
Heads in,
The
let's
ball
go.
flashing across the
Heads
front
down,
of him from
clock
Harry
off.
Grant.
Break.
Khan Pereira, the winger, feeds the scrum. Don't see too many wingers feeding scrums. Now Brimson stepping back off his right foot on the inside there of Justin Olam will play it just outside the Melbourne 20. Chance to respond for the Titans. After a try scored by Jonah Pezzett for Melbourne. Set restart. Stimson playing it here. Comes wide to Boyd. Now Foran. Chance for Fafita. He had the option of going to Khan Pereira. Comes back towards the middle. Stays alive with it before being stopped by Welsh at the 10-metre line. Randall. Asuamala spinning in the tackle.
Numbers left.
He's got that right arm free. We'll see if they come back to the short side. They don't. They go instead to Isaac Liu. They've burnt one there. Boyd was ready at first receiver. I think it went to the wrong man. Randall finds Boyd. His Foran under pressure there. Remus Smith coming out very quickly. Put him under pressure and forced a knock on.
Well, they come to this left-hand side block a little too late. They had him stripped for numbers before they went to the right-hand side, and they come back and they just try and force a pass. This time the rushing defence of the Melbourne Storm was able to keep him at bay. We see Dave Fafita, he had an opportunity blocker, particularly to pass this time to an open Piera.
Tanner.
We saw that, the same sort of errors last week. They just couldn't complete. They weren't able to mount any pressure. That was a nervous pass really there from Foran, the more experienced player. Just tried to tap it on.
Right.
You can't afford to make those mistakes against the Melbourne Storm, or anyone for that matter.
Tanner Boyd's got one up here. The same play. Justin Olam had picked out Tanner Boyd and run straight at him. He comes up with an error this time, and a really good opportunity for the Gold Coast Titans to come up with a really good play before we go to drinks break.
His first real game for 2023. Barely played 6 minutes to Justin Olam before breaking that arm
10 seconds.
pre-season challenge against the Roosters. Once again, the Titans a chance to air out some of their pet plays in this next set. From 20 metres out, it goes to Boyd. Foran around the back from Kelly. They kept it going through Brimson to Khan Pereira. It glides across the turf, and we'll play it here 10 out from the Melbourne line. Randall. He goes back to Fafita. Getting plenty of touches early on. 6 again. Another restart here for the Gold Coast. They're deep in the right edge. Fodawaker finds Liu for Suamala-Aui. All the middle forwards. Space on that right-hand side. Well, there was until Justin Olam arrived again. Chalks up another victim as he swamped Aaron Chop. Here's Liu showing it. Of the uprights, 15 away. As Foran finds Fafita, tries to get away from Hughes. Good effort by the halfback to hang with him. Quick play the ball though from Fodawaker. Randall for Boyd. They're flat. Stimson standing. Knocked backwards there and then knocked on by Randall.
Justin first.
Grant Atkins, the referee, says it was knocked on by Justin Olam before the knock on by Randall.
Well, they're going to get the ball back here, the Titans. They need to take a deep breath because there's too much panic play going on at the moment. They need a real steering of the ship. They go left to right. Fasuamala-Aui comes up with an offload, and off the back of that they look likely, but never really had much structure to what they were doing there.
Going to do over here with a 2-point lead. A couple of minutes away from drinks break in this first half. Foran, Brimson back on the inside, around towards Harry Grant, who was defending on this right edge out of the scrum. For Suamala-Aui, puts his way towards King and company. 3 involved there in the tackle, including both front rowers. Now Liu for Boyd. Justin Olam came out. Boyd was slipping. And there might be a problem here for Justin Olam.
Well, he's mentioned about the jukebox. That's number 3 of the afternoon.
Tackle 0 at this stage with Trent.
There'll be something more come of this if he's hit him in the head, but just have a look where he comes from. Just isolates him, missiles in. Does he make contact?
Trent.
Boy, right at the top of the chest.
Go back, please.
Maybe a suggestion of a bit of contact there with the chin. Tino Fasuamaleaui can't believe it. He's trying to hold things up here to give the bunker a further look at that contact from Justin Olam, who has that big arm guard protecting that recently broken right forearm.
You reckon that might have been a little bit of a square up from the one before, where Tanner Boyd got Olam to lose the football with one of his shots?
Well, poor little Tanner Boyd would be thinking, what have I done wrong here this afternoon? He's got a target on his back from one of the best in the business.
Well, I'm going to say there was no contact. Watch this again with the head of Tanner Boyd. It's hard to definitively say it right then.
Tino's responded here.
Now there's more issues because Fasuamaleaui, he was fired up, and you saw that off the back of that. He was adamant there was a problem with that Olam tackle, and now he's trying to return serve.
And they'll have a look at this as well. It's Tino, the captain, trying to inspire his troops. Spent plenty of time in the Melbourne Storm. Just have a look here, Katoa.
He's
hot and heavy in the middle block.
Glad I'm up here in the air conditioning.
It's 30 degrees. It might be time for a drink break for both teams here, just to cool things down. Shots there. Olam, no penalty on him. Like Tino Fasuamaleaui, who, let's see what the match review committee make of that. And this is harking back to completion rate for the Melbourne Storm. Craig Bellamy, you saw his reaction to the error once again as they went on the attack.
The Tanner Boyd's leaving the field now is what would be HIA, and Candy is going to be injected into the fray. What can he produce with some fatiguing middle forwards?
Here's Kelly, stepping back away from the sideline. Now he loses it, and it came back to him without touching a Melbourne Storm player. That's a minor miracle in itself. Here's Fasuamaleaui. It's an offload away. Randall looking for an option, will just take the tackle. They're inside the 20. Last play here for the Gold Coast. Brimson to the line, kicks straight to Wally Katoa. He'll bring it away. Good reaction from the big edge forward for Melbourne. He'll play it at the Storm's 20.
Just need to come away with something a little bit better. There's the drop ball.
This time, Isaac Liu.
Have a drink break. Your food. Their feed.
We will have a breather.
A couple of ice packs too while you're there.
Cool the Jets.
Watch this again.
Gold Coast feet.
Last hit was a beauty as well. Boy, it has been back and forth. Olam set the trend early on, and then coming out of the line, Kamikamifa here on Joe Stimson. Christian Welsh was thereabouts as well. Here's Warbrick bringing it forward, losing it right there on the yardage sets. Contact was strong once again. They will get a chance just to sit back for a couple of minutes here, take a drink, and in the case of Tanner Boyd, undergo the HIA. So confirm with Lara Pitt when we can whether that was on the advice of the independent doctor. I'm guessing it was, or maybe the club doctor looked at the video and thought there was enough of an issue there with Tanner Boyd.
That's an injury, mate. Yeah. That's an injury. Just because you get injured, it doesn't mean it's a penalty.
So there's the tackle again. Tino's asking the question. Yeah. He's gone for an HIA. You guys said there was no problem with the contact. It is still hard to determine exactly the point of contact there.
Yeah, well, he's left the field, whether it was for the whiplash motion that we saw or there was contact. Really hard to see from those two angles that we saw. But a great recovery from the Gold Coast Titans, where at the start of the game it was a high-tempo start from the Melbourne Storm. 5 from 9 from the Melbourne Storm at 56%. Certainly won't impress the coach after last week. I spoke about the leaders before the game and what they need to do and stand up by. We saw Christian Welch just put out a lazy little offload and gifted the ball back to the Titans, who now will have a great opportunity to continue to mount some pressure.
So scrum, 25 out.
Just needs a calm head at the moment. Kieran Foran just on that left-hand side, controlling play. They need to get a repeat set. Last 3 times they've been down here, they've turned over the ball meekly. If they can build a little bit more pressure, they'll be able to put points on the board.
It has been frantic. These opening 20 minutes, some massive hits. People will tell you in 2023, with all the rule changes and independent doctors, the game's going soft. It's never been harder. The contact is as good as it's ever been. Maybe the hits are bigger given the size and the speed of the players in the game as it stands now. Jaden Campbell is on deck. He's out there for Tanner Boyd. And filling that role the first couple of weeks for Justin Holbrook. Here is Fasua Mala'awi, almost got it away to Kieran Foran, who was looming up. Randall to the left edge, finds Fafita, skips away there from Meaney. Full back up, and the front line for Melbourne. Now 5 metres out, midway through this set, it's a slow play the ball. Kelly now doing some stepping.
6 again, 10 metres.
And gets 6 more tackles from the Gold Coast Titans. Melbourne up off their line. Offside on that play, said Grant Atkins. Fasua Mala'awi hit here by Katoa. High contact here. As the big front rower went close to the ground.
Yeah, I understand.
Plenty of defence being done by the visitors at the moment.
It's on report too, that one. Tanner Boyd off at the moment. We go.
Come on, I'll get out of your
Straight
way.
across the bugle blocker.
An ungainly effort there from Eli Katoa. Might have opened up Tino Fasua Mala'awi. Some running repairs from the Gold Coast trainer. Campbell now, wide ball from dummy half. And stay on the attack. Off the back of the drinks break, everybody had a slushy down at the service station. Foran goes wide again. Khan Pereira stops and starts. Oh, he's lightning. The feats, the dancing of Alofiana Khan Pereira. He's a try-scoring machine at every level coming through. He's now got 3 in the NRL.
Well, this is brilliant. Brilliant. The vision from Foran just to be able to get the pass out to Khan Pereira, who we would have seen so often at training, stand individuals up exactly like this. Should never have done this, should never have scored this try. But the little rookie, here's the reason they had it. Katoa put on report, they come out to this left-hand side. Foran, just a nice over-the-top pass. Warbrick had him done. Should never have scored in that corner. And Khan Pereira, so lightning quick on his feet. Silky mover of the football.
You know the most amazing thing about this? From a standing start, he stops and then takes off again. Centimetres to work in with the sideline. I thought, oh, he's going to be bumbled into touch here. All of a sudden he explodes. What about that for speed off the mark and power? Freaky stuff.
Well, they're backing themselves on this left edge in particular to get at that compressed Melbourne Storm defensive line, no matter where they are on the field. And the long ball for, yes, Alofiana Khan Pereira, 21-year-old with a massive future in the NRL.
Try-scoring machine in the Queensland Cup. I had a little bit to do with Khan Pereira when I was coaching with the Queensland under-18s, and he is lightning quick, as we've seen. And his rise into first grade has happened this year, and he looks like he's going to stay for a long period of time. What an excitement machine out in this left edge.
Got some options for outside backs. Philip Sami on the other side of the field for Jojo Fafita today. That hooter, damage there of Tino Fasua Mala'awi. Wait and see if the change is his brother Isaac, who comes on, plays in the middle third for him. The plan was to give Isaac around about 10 minutes before half-time and then 5 to 10 minutes on the other side of the break. But Tino comes from the field. The Gold Coast 12, the Melbourne Storm 6. After the Bulldogs beat Melbourne last week. Oh, Foran puts it down. Reema Smith ends up with it, and the Storm get a chance to respond immediately. And chocolates to boiled lollies for Kieran Foran after the long ball set up Khan Pereira for the try. And he dropped his lollies off the restart. Harry Grant goes out to Pezzett. Gets it on to Trent Liero, who will play it here about 5 out from the Gold Coast line. They take him to the turf eventually. Grant waits dummy half and a crack himself and gets a set restart. Always like to back himself, does Harry Grant. Comes back to Pezzett. And Alec McDonald on the field, poking his nose through the line, stopped by Fodawaker and also for Feeder. Grant on the wraparound with King. Pezzett out the back. Meany showing it, spinning, and he got there as well. Nick Meany plants it down. Melbourne do hit back. They're going try for try.
The Melbourne Storm get the ball back off the kickoff in the error from Kieran Foran. And the money man touched the ball. Just dazzling out of dummy half is Harry Grant. There's the error there we see from Foran. Nice little runaway and play before Pezzett finds Meany isolated one-on-one. Did Liero get in the road? Not by my call. And the Melbourne Storm hit straight back.
Well, Meany should never have been able to score there.
No.
That was meek and mild, wasn't it, that defence? That's been the problem with the Titans since I can remember. Get themselves in front and they give up meekly. Got to be able to make the tackle. He's not a big man, Meany. Just spun out of that. He was assisted by Randall, trying to turn him the other way. They didn't come off their line hard enough there. The old run around, people, when they do the run around, people stop. Still to this day.
Well, it's a great play, particularly with the rules at the moment, because you can start from the inside and run around, as opposed to a decoy runner going through and catching on the inside.
So a couple of beauties last night between the Dolphins and the Titans, or rather the Newcastle Knights. For Newcastle, Meany to convert his own try. He puts 2 more on the board. We're locked up here on the Gold Coast. Turns out to be an expensive error off the restart there by Kieran Foran. 12 apiece. Watch it again. Justin Olam coming out with that shot there on Tanner Boyd, Lara Pitt.
Yeah, the good news is Tanner Boyd has come back out onto the bench, gave me the thumbs up. The independent doctor sent him for the HIA. He has passed that and will be back into the fold shortly. Tino Fa'asuamaleaui is going through his HIA in the sheds right now.
HIA situation there for Fa'asuamaleaui. There is Tanner Boyd looking clear-eyed on the bench for the Gold Coast. To his credit, was contact high or not, he bounced back to his feet pretty much after that tackle from Justin Olam. So maybe as good an indicator as any that if there was contact with the jaw or the chin, it was very, very minimal. And the force Justin Olam was coming out at. Put him in row 4 if he got him above the shoulders.
He'd been up here with us.
And Melbourne work it away. 10 short of the halfway line.
Both coaches gone to the interchange bench. Joe Vuna onto the field, plays game number 7 in the NRL, but was played 4 of those against the Melbourne Storm.
Remarkable, isn't it? And spent all of last season recuperating from that ACL reconstruction. So it's a long time between drinks for Joe as Hughes puts it up. Sami going back. Coates was there. What a catch by Philip Sami, floating back. He's knocked it on though, says Grant Atkins.
Well, it's a great battle out on that left-hand side. Coates and Sami. Dangerous signs here from Hughes. Just coming off the right foot, was pressured from the inside. We know what sort of player Coates is in the air.
Let's come in, please.
Here he comes there, bang off the right foot, back through the middle. He comes up with a kick for his man out on the left edge, and Coates contesting for the ball, just able.
Now we'll see if the Titans have got any resilience. That's been their problem. Every time they've been down here, the Melbourne Storm, been able to score simple tries.
So a set play here off the scrum. At the back was Meany. A set play between Hughes and Remus Smith. Remus Smith got a fair bake there from Jerome Hughes while he was on the ground, having made the error, and now to compound it, they give away a penalty, and the Gold Coast find the easy way out of their own end.
Yeah, and there'll be nothing more infuriating for the coach, particularly when they come up with a set play, they come up with an error because an individual wasn't expecting the ball and then they compound that by giving away a penalty. And at the end of this set, in the space of 60 seconds, the Titans will be attacking their line.
The Gold Coast begin with David Fafita. Takes it into Melbourne territory. Right-hand side set here for a little assault from long range should they want to go that way. Fodawaker will play it here, playing big minutes in this opening half in this heat on the Gold Coast. Brimson goes to Stimson, wider to Sami, who cuts back a long way. Has to face of 4 or 5 Melbourne Storm defenders before they lock him up just outside the 20. They've used up 3 plays. Comes back through Aaron Clark, who offers so much energy and effort off the bench for Justin Holbrook. Carried by Vuna. Now it goes to Clark. Foran under pressure there from Hughes. Half on half. Hughes rattles Kieran Foran and gets a result for his team.
Yeah, big play from Jerome Hughes. The two Kiwi international halves going at it. The old bull and the young bull as Hughes looks to get things underway nice and quick. Wonderful touch finder.
Came out to get Foran very squarely, who barely made contact with the ball himself. The timing from Hughes on the tackle, that was superb. And go through the middle, work it away for Tarek Sims. What a couple of extra weeks to make his first appearance for the Melbourne Storm, having left the Dragons at the end of 2022. Here's chance for Katoa coming over the top there. Contact from Aaron Clark deemed okay by the referee. Now they keep charging, working it hard. Tarek Sims with his second touch for the Melbourne Storm. He scores to put them in front. What a charge and a put down by Tarek Sims.
It's got the coach up out of the chair, and rightly so. You look for a bit of enthusiasm in the injection of Tarek Sims. Played a lot of football, but he's first in the Melbourne Storm colours. You see here Grant out of dummy half. Pezzett, who's had a wonderful start to his NRL career. Just a nice little pass to Tarek Sims, who's running a hard line between 2 defenders.
Yeah, I thought Pezzett disguised that pass really well. It looked like he was going to go out the back. A little bit of the double pump here. See? Looks like he's going to go out the back. Hits the front man. Again, that is shocking defence there from the Titans. No resilience.
It was a really nice play. A couple of plays before that one block, when Pezzett got the ball, a lot of halves continue on that same run, particularly towards the sideline. He really squared his shoulders up and squared the defensive line up before playing out the back. Some wonderful signs from Pezzett, who, as you mentioned, got the man of the match in the State of Origin last year. He gets his opportunity with Munster out, and he's making the most of it.
In the under-19s for New South Wales, he was a real star in 2022. Lovely deft pass there, little double pump for Tarek Sims, who's been out with a calf injury, didn't play any games during the pre-season challenge, didn't play in week 1 or week 2. Comes on, he's barely been on there 60 seconds. A couple of quick carries, and he scores for the first time with the Melbourne Storm. Tanner Boyd with the interchange card back in hand. He'll be back out there having passed his HIA. And Jaden Campbell, you'd imagine, will come from the field for the Gold Coast. Kickoff goes down to Jerome Hughes, who forced the mistake to begin with from Kieran Foran. And the Titans compounded that with a penalty conceded. And Melbourne have had great success pretty much every time they go inside the 20. Come away with results. They've only had 6 tackles in total in Melbourne inside the 20. They've got 3 tries at this point of the first half. Another penalty here. These are killing the Gold Coast.
It's so relieving, isn't it, when you don't have to work the ball, especially in these conditions, off your own line. Got a heap of penalties to get them up around the halfway line. That kick probably wasn't as good as the last couple there from Hughes, but isn't he starting to take control of the game? Yeah. Get himself involved.
You see Harry Grant every time he goes in a dummy half, just looking and identifying some fatiguing middle forwards and where to probe and what to do.
As Just a mix-up there for Harry Grant. Play on as Pezzett finds Hughes. Eli Katoa, Meany back on the inside. He tackled himself. He stumbled at the final hurdle. Nobody in front of him. Hughes wrapping to the short side. Here's Grant. He goes back to Meany. He gets a chance to do it over. And this time, he gets there. Try again for Nick Meany. In every set, he has a double. He was certain to score on the previous play. Boy, that had the coach out of his chair.
He's doing some laps, the coach, and you mentioned it, Block. Jerome Hughes just starting to warm to the contest. Nick Meany falling over absolutely nothing. Katoa beautiful down that right-hand side, and Hughes once again. Hughes, Grant finds Meany back through the middle.
They love when fatigue starts to set in. They love playing that up-tempo game. You can see them coming into their own now. Hughes, Grant, he's going to have a go himself there. Meany tripped over only seconds ago, gets himself back involved in the play, and he's in again.
You just cannot give players like Grant and Hughes an opportunity to even run the ball. They're looking for body cues, they're looking at tired defenders. And when they catch the ball, they look up and they see your body language not where it needs to be, they will take you on. They'll come off any left foot, right foot, challenge the inside shoulder.
Meany here with his conversion from beside the uprights to make it a dozen to the good for Melbourne Storm. 12 points to 6. And Khan Pereira scored back in the 23rd minute, but they've gone 3 tries straight from that point on. And it's 24-12, 5 out from halftime here at Cbus Super Stadium. Isaac Fasuamaleaui about to make his first foray into the NRL. He hits the field, gets a big reception from the home fans here on the Gold Coast. Tino back on the bench, undergoing the HIA at the moment, going through the protocol. Now Isaac, his 21-year-old brother, is out there. As we said before the kickoff, they don't make them small or medium in the Fasuamaleaui family. He's right off the old production line of the Fasuamaleaui household, isn't he? He's involved in the tackle there as Melbourne work it away down the middle of the field. Stunning turnabout in this game. Tries in the 25th, 31st, and 34th minute. Grant sliding for Katoa. Katoa had a chance. Boy, he was away and running there, and only Brimson in front of him.
Yeah, he certainly was, and they're just allowing Harry Grant to be able to run around and do whatever he wants with the football. Comes out at dummy half before moving 15 to 20 metres sideways. And if Katoa's able to hold on to that ball.
Well, Katoa had done all the hard work, put himself into that space, inside shoulder there, straight through.
Come in, please. Let's go.
The pass was perfect.
Rolling.
Just got to punch holes when you're running off a bloke like Harry Grant. Just gives you opportunities. Another turnover now for the Titans.
Contact over the top there from Jerome Hughes on Jaden Campbell. Joe Vuna hit and spin away from the tackle there. They'll play at 35 away from the Melbourne Liners. Randall goes to Aaron Clark, turns it back underneath for Mo Fodawaker. Fancy to be Fodawaker who gets the breather here from Tino Fasuamaleaui, who's about to come back onto the field. Brimson, he'll play it at the 20. Goes from Randall through Clark, Tanner Boyd, Jaden Campbell, chance out wide for Sami. Comes back away from the sideline, then straightens. And they stop him about 5 out from the Melbourne line. Comes back to Boyd. They're very flat. He kicks across the face of everybody. Tap backwards there by Vuna. Brimson ends up with it. And he was looking for Khan Pereira.
Play the ball, Melbourne.
Fired it over his shoulder. And Melbourne will come up with possession.
Well, it was an awful pass out of dummy half to Tanner Boyd to try and come up with any sort of executed kick. And when you've got a team like Melbourne Storm who have dialed in on the little 1%ers in their game, makes it very difficult.
Just a mix-up there. Fodawaker came all the way over to the sideline to make the change with
AJ Brimson's got a bit of an issue here,
that he has, defending at the moment out on the left wing for the Gold Coast Titans. Fodawaker had to turn around and run all the way back to the middle of the field because they're in a defensive set suddenly. Let's go downstairs to Lara Pitts.
You can see Kieran Foran has made his way to the bench. Now, the club tried to make the sub initially with Tanner Boyd going back on. He had wanted none of it, but the club eventually got him off from the field. There was no injury to Kieran Foran, and he wasn't happy about being brought back to the bench.
Well, that is interesting. No injury. He had that cork to the knee and the quad after the game against the West Tigers back in round 1. He had a fair bit of padding on it last week against the Dragons, but here he is. He looked pretty fit today. A couple of errors with his hands in this first half. One of them off the kickoff certainly put them under pressure, and they conceded points off the back of it. So maybe on a hot afternoon, it's just giving the veteran a bit of a breather blocker before the break, and it will be an extended half time. More about that. Oh, here's a chance for Warbrick on Brimson, who had his own issues a moment ago. Melbourne makes the mistake, gives the Titans a chance here just before the break.
They can't afford to lose AJ Brimson. He's that spark at the back that they need. Now they've got young Campbell. There's another error. Or knock back, knock 6 again. But AJ Brimson, ankle injury by the look of it. He's in all sorts to get himself through to half time.
The Gold Coast have it just outside Melbourne's 10. From Boyd goes to Brimson. Kelly stopping on his run. He hasn't hurt himself, has he? Just surrendered in the tackle for fear of giving away an obstruction penalty with Joe Vuna in front of him. Suamala Awi takes it towards the uprights. Tackles up their sleeve here off the restart. Now Brimson rubbering Kelly, waits for the bounce and times it beautifully. He plants it down. A Melbourne error hurts them right before half-time, and the kick for Brimson was perfect for Brian Kelly.
Yeah, nice to be a fullback and have that sort of skill at the line. They rushed up off the line there that time, the Melbourne Storm. Brimson, a little nod over the Kelly, grubbers it through. He's got enough pace to get there early. Slams the footy down. What a time to score too for the Titans, giving themselves some hope. 10 seconds to go before half-time. What a time to score. That's great play there. Just threads the needle there, Brimson. No fullback at home. And Kelly scores for the Titans.
There is the half-time siren sounding. Jarson Holbrook knows just before they get this breather. 20 minutes half-time will be today. Considering the 31-degree temperatures at kickoff, Brian Kelly missed the first 2 weeks with that suspension, which went all the way back to the end of the 2022 season. And fresh up today, he's looked pretty sharp, hasn't he, on this left-hand side with speedster Lofiana Khan Pereira playing outside of him. They've got some strike on this left edge.
Yeah, they have. They've got some speed in their footy side too. If they can just get a little bit more resilient on their goal line, or every time the opposition gets in the 20 or 30, a little bit more resilience with their defence. They can't go into games thinking you score, I score. Be able to defend on your goal line. That's been the problem. As soon as Hughes and Harry Grant started to get more involved, they've carved them up here in the first half.
Tanner Boyd, it's a terrific kick. He's striking them nicely today. At half-time, it's a converted try, the difference right here at Cbus Super Stadium. There is Jonah Pezzett, and all eyes on this run on 13 for the second half of the Gold Coast Titans, to see if Kieran Foran is in their number. Through the smoke haze, it didn't appear as though the veteran was there. There he is at the back of the pack of those who will join the bench to open up this second 40 minutes. So something of a surprise. Isaac Fasuamala-Awi. You'd imagine that Foran would have been back on to begin this second half, but they didn't want to burn an interchange. And barely 4 minutes before the break, and then I guess to begin the second half. So we'll wait and see how long it is Well, Kieran Foran is back out there for the Gold Coast. We're back underway here at Cbus Super Stadium. Warren Smith along with Corey Parker, Stephen Blocker-Roach, Lara Pitt bringing you this one early penalty on the back of play one given away by Melbourne. And the Gold Coast, an afternoon where there's not much breeze to speak of. First chance to find some metres. No mistake there from Tanner Boyd, who didn't find touch a couple of times off penalty kicks for the line last week against the Dragons. They lost that one down there at Cogra, 32-18. They're playing from behind again here this afternoon. Got some points in them. We've seen that already. It's Vuna. Takes it down here within 40 of the Melbourne Storm line. Tanner Boyd goes to Brimson. Joe Stimson will be wrapped up just outside the 20 up against his old club, one of his old clubs here today. Wide ball comes back to Aaron Clark in the middle of the field. Then a nice long service there from dummy half. Back to the right edge, Boyd on the inside, a chance for Isaac Fasuamalawi to gallop into space, chop down a couple of metres out from Randall. Goes back to Boyd. He kicks out wide. Kelly is there, so is Khan Pereira. Coming down with a good catch, though, was Will Warbrick, former Rugby Sevens player. An important stop there for Melbourne.
Yeah, really nice set. Orchestrated too by Tanner Boyd. Obviously, as you mentioned, was no Kieran Foran on the field. Just leaves one director to do all the work. And Warbrick comes up with a nice little catch as they come up the night. Vuna.
He comes up with possession off the loose ball there from Melbourne. Saunters his way in, and the Titans grab their first try of the second half in unusual circumstances. Joe Vuna, first game back from a knee reconstruction, which cost him all of 2022, and that has Craig Bellamy quite perturbed.
Yeah, just some compounding errors from the Melbourne Storm. First, the penalty off the kickoff. This one here. Katoa just trying to force a pass, coming out of his own end. Wrong place to do it, wrong time to do it. Vuna swoops on the ball. And in game number 8 of his career, as you mentioned, is able to cross.
Gee, they give themselves a chance, haven't they? Right on the stroke of half-time, they score, the Titans. And now they're in early in the second half. You know what he's trying to do, offload the football in those sort of circumstances. There's a good solid hit there from David Fafita. The ball comes loose. Vuna scoops it up, can't believe his luck, looks up, there's no one in front of him, and dives over.
Quite the story for the rest of his life, Blocker, when someone asks him in the future how he scored his first try in the NRL. He'll say, let me take you through it.
Yeah, it'll take a while.
You just saw a vision there of Craig Bellamy. I mean, at half-time, they would have went through what they wanted to do, how they wanted to start, how they wanted to control the game. The first set, they give away a penalty. Then they force a pass coming out of their own end under all sorts of pressure and invite the Titans to potentially pin level back into this game.
Took a while for the bunker to confirm that try. Some extra looks there. Now give it the green light. And now Tanner Boyd off and upright and fizzing its way through. We're locked up here on the Gold Coast on a hot, hot March afternoon. It's 24 apiece. Downstairs to you, Lara.
Craig Bellamy will be fuming after that. His halftime address was all about ball control. Every time they were getting the ball themselves, they would score. They just need to limit their errors. That's 9 now in total so far. I spoke to the Titans about the benching of Kieran Foran. They said they simply had to get Tanner Boyd back out there after he passed his HIA, and they could see Foran getting knocked around a bit. But they expect him to be back into the fray within 5 to 7 minutes of this half start.
That is bizarre. That is bizarre, the fact that they felt that Kieran Foran was getting knocked around a little bit.
He always
get him
knocked
off.
around, doesn't he?
He's played so much football. He was brought to the club for his experience, his toughness, the way he's able to lead the side and direct his team around.
For the moment, an offload here has Jaden Campbell in place of Kieran Foran, racing back towards the 40. Intensity there on the look with the mouthguard in hand. To get back into the action. He's a 32-year-old playing game number 265 here this afternoon. Randall. Katino Fasuamalawi Ball comes free here and knocked on by the Titans front rower. It's been that sort of afternoon. The completion rates in these warm conditions, nothing to write home about from either team at the end of 40 minutes. Titans were 14 from 20. Melbourne were 13 from 20. And the Melbourne Storm get a chance to hit back after that early try in this second half, scored by the Titans.
It's just really important after points that you get through your set, you get a nice kick away and get straight into your defensive system. And Tino just forcing the pass once again.
Well, off the scrum win, Justin Olam will play it here on his own side of halfway. Xavier Coates, who's back from that sternoclavicular injury, suffered back in round one. I had to say that very carefully. Corey.
I'll leave it to you, guys.
Sternoclavicular.
Please explain. What is that?
The SC joint. The bit where your collarbone joins up with your sternum, basically.
Why did you just say that?
I should have said that. Here's Harry Grant. His SC joint, his AC joint, they're all okay. Plays it here, 35 out from the Titans line. Tarek Sims, try scorer on debut for the Melbourne Storm just before half-time as they edged out to that 12-point lead. Now it's back at 24 apiece. Tries either side of half-time for the Gold Coast. Melbourne have a chance here. Spezza at the line. Hughes puts it down. Cleaned up here by Aaron Schopp. He doesn't need any help. There's nobody near him for the Melbourne Storm. Coates coming late, but Schopp will run away. Another Melbourne error leads to Gold Coast points. That theme has continued throughout the afternoon. They're back in front, the Titans.
Yeah, just like that, the Gold Coast Titans, they just don't go away. They find a way to find some points off the back of some error-riddled second half. Down this left-hand side. Found a little bit of space. What they thought was just a pure drop from Jerome Hughes was so good at the back end of that first half, and Schopp just swooping on the ball. And too fast for Xavier Coates.
Well, they were all up in the line attacking, weren't they? The Melbourne Storm. 2 errors to start the second half. 2 tries. Aaron Schopp can't believe the bounce. Look at this. Bounce straight up into his hands. No cover, no defence there. And off he goes. Had enough pace to get there comfortably. Supported there by Campbell. But early errors there from the Storm to start this second half. A couple of tries have come. And now they find themselves in front.
Couple of nervous looks over the shoulder from Aaron Schopp. Has his first try as a Gold Coast Titan. He's a rugged defender on the right edge. Showed some toe there as well. Boyd. Another nice strike from beside the uprights, hitting them well here this afternoon. Well, this is amazing. Not that long ago, the Gold Coast Titans trailed 24 points to 12. Now they lead 30 to 24. We've had barely 8 minutes of this second half. The pass to Hughes, hit him right in the chest. Don't see that too often from the international. When he put it down, it bounced up for this man, Aaron Schopp, pushing through Philip Sami. He was there in support, or maybe he was just getting a bit of work in. Big sprint, 90 metres for Sami as well as Aaron Schopp. They lead by 6. It's a high-scoring game so far this season. You might need 50 to win this one today, to lock it up. In that sort of afternoon, points are flowing. In warm conditions. On Super Saturday, they headed to Townsville beyond this. The Cowboys and the Warriors are next, and then followed by the Broncos and the Dragons. And all Queensland. Super Saturday, I don't know how many there have been over the years.
Not a lot, not a lot. Queensland flavour on a Saturday afternoon into the night.
It's a rare appearance by the Broncos to be playing on a Saturday, Corey. How many times did you play on a Saturday in your career?
Twice? Very little.
You got the weekend off every week. Friday night footy. Exclusive.
Good to be a Bronco, isn't it? Here's Brimson. Comes across here to Aaron Schopp, the try scorer. Chance for the Broncos tonight to go 3-0. And the Dolphins, of course, are 3-0 as Boyd puts a kick in. The two teams meet next week. Suncorp won't be big enough for that one as the Broncos take on the Dolphins.
Really interesting to see the defensive body language for the Melbourne Storm. I mean, there's a lot of people, only moments into this second half, 10 minutes in fact, a lot of people hands on hips. They look like they're getting out enthused.
There was talk after the game last week from Craig Bellamy about the effort and the effort that was missing. The Melbourne Storm in their performance and that loss to the Bulldogs. Boy, a tough pass there to handle from Welsh. He put it, almost put it down, did well to hang on to it in the end. Now Grant kicking from inside the 40. Won't have the depth or the angle to trouble the sideline. Sits up eventually for Brimson. Oh boy.
25
boy,
minutes.
oh boy. I know it's hot. That's an awful error, isn't it, from the fullback?
Well, he had all day to pick up the ball, Brimson.
Fuck on, Christian.
He just wondered if he trap it with the feet, will it bounce backwards? He'll let it bounce again before approaching it. Just unable to pick it up. And now the Melbourne Storm. Grant, Hughes, Pezzett, what can they come up with?
Let's go downstairs to Lara Pitt. Kieran Foran back on his feet.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting warmed back up again. The Titans did tell me they thought he'd be thrown back into this contest within 5 or 7 minutes. He's still on the bench. Obviously, they've had a cracking start to this second half. Let's see when they bring their big name signing back into the game.
Moving him out there now defensively on that left edge. Jaden Campbell still out there in the same slot, occupied by Kieran Foran. Melbourne go back inside the 10. They play it there through King. Hughes had to wait. Another poor pass from dummy half. They've had their issues, both teams, today with their handling. They scored plenty of points all the same. Grant turns it back underneath. Welsh going nowhere there. Good tackle by Brimson in the front line along with Joe Vuna. Oh, short ball there for McDonald. That was a crash play, all or nothing. He puts it down. It'll be a knock-on against Melbourne. The Gold Coast thought it was play on. Tino Fasuamala-Aui. He gave McDonald a huge shove. Said, "You're not coming through here, my boy."
Well, he's done a terrific job, particularly him and his troops, to get themselves back into this game and back in front as Harry Grant. Just another error from the Melbourne Storm, who quite simply in this second half haven't come out of the sheds with any sort of intent or intensity that's required. Full credit to the Gold Coast Titans to be able to be in front of this game, but very un-Melbourne-like.
Kelly scored in the 40th minute, 30 seconds before the break. Vuna in the 42nd, Shop in the 47th. Now the Titans put it down. So it's just error for error here at the moment. Grant out of dummy half. Welsh working his way back towards the left-hand side. The groan from the Gold Coast crowd as they put it down again. Grant, little dummy, Olam. Didn't get away from Aaron Shot there. He did well with some help from Tanner Boyd. 2 plays gone. Pezzett goes across to Hughes, holds it up and holds it up eventually. Katoa had to go out. He's hit with a short pass there. Nothing doing though for the edge forward. Grant looks left, comes back to the right. Now Hughes gets tackled there on play number 4. Takes him out of business on this next one. They'll have to burn a play. Pezzett rubbers, puts them under pressure. Boyd is there and reaches back to keep it in the field of play.
Well, they look completely lost, disjointed, unorganised. Melbourne Storm as now Christian Welch.
I'll check in the process, mate.
He's come up very quickly here.
Built purely out of frustration from what they're tossing up in this second half. The skipper comes out and tries to level.
There's the shove from Fasuamala-Aui as Pezzett got the kick away. Boyd was able to bring it back to keep it in the field of play, and then Welsh coming out of the line. Contact on Khan Pereira was too high.
Yeah, it just looks like Harry Grant's just trying too hard at the moment. A little bit of indecision out of dummy half.
Well, they just look like they're lost. I mean, you know, Pezzett in the halves is doing his job. Hughes needs to stand up, as we saw in the back end of that first half. Meany needs to have a voice. did, but they look every time that they're in good ball that they're trying to find the easy way to the try line instead of really building. As again, another penalty.
So it's errors and penalties given away by Melbourne. And the coach will be doing laps of the box below us here at Cbus Super Stadium. Kelly back on his feet. There's the tap off the back of the kick for line. And Katoa ended up coming down just on top of him there. You just can't do it in the last couple of seasons. You can't be in a situation like that and bring your body weight down on top of the head or the neck of the man with the ball. And the Titans get another one. Here's, oh boy, this one around the shoulders, says Grant Atkins. It was almost going to be a three-peat, and that would have maybe taken Melbourne to the edge of having somebody miss 10 minutes. Treading a fine line here. Some of these situations and high shots, contact above the shoulders on Gold Coast Titans ball carriers. Randall the player, just outside the 30, Brimson. He goes back to Isaac Fasua, Mala'awi. Both he and Tino, 21 and 23-year-old respectively, on deck at the same time for the Gold Coast. Boyd spinning. He's doing a 7.20 there in the tackle of Welsh around the legs.
Dave Fafita on the field out the left-hand side.
Brimson on the right-hand side, comes back towards the middle. Clark cleans it up. A bypass for Fafita. Kelly puts it down, and Melbourne hang on to it.
It's like a magnet to the ball for the Titans. They tried to get the ball to Fafita, who'd just come back onto the field. Unable to do so, they come up with an error.
Once again, as they bypass Fafita, Kelly putting it down there in the tackle of Warbrick, jamming in. Justin Olam, as we rejoin the action live, brings it back beyond the 30, and Kieran Foran still watching on from the sideline. Surely can't be too far away from rejoining the action. We've had 15 minutes plus in their second half. He's missed 20 minutes almost of game time. Here we are, and he is now back on his feet with interchange card in hand.
Knowing Kieran Foran and the competitor that he is, he'd be burning the fact that he's standing on the sideline watching his team.
Pezzett bombs away towards the corner. Puts some pressure here on Sami, who puts it down. He might have got a bump in the head for his trouble coming through quickly there was Xavier Coates.
Well, how many chances do they want to get themselves right back into the game now? The Melbourne Storm got a score in this set. They rushed to the scrum.
It was a well-weighted kick from Pezzett once again, and the footsteps of Coates on Sami. That's been a battle all afternoon. And you're spot on, Block. What can the Melbourne Storm come up with this set? The set start.
Just want to see him mount a bit of pressure rather than playing helter-skelter. Plenty of time left on the clock. You just need to get that one try.
Mass changes here for the Gold Coast.
Hurry. Right.
Exactly, you were about to come back on. We'll have to wait while the scrum sets. Reema Smith to play, 5 metres out from the Titans line. Goes back there to Katoa. Shoveled by Nick Meaney. Harry Grant takes over. Dummy half once again now. Deep left-hand side sets. Bronson Garlick is out there, included on the bench today for the Melbourne Storm once again. Plays it underneath the uprights from Pezzett. He looks to his left-hand side. Meaney was slow to move there, so Pezzett comes back to the right. Hughes takes on Tino Fasua Mala'awi. It's a good piece of him with some help there from Fodawaker. They drive him back beyond the 10. Titans crowd enjoyed that contact. Here's Welsh. Juggle once again. Fasua Mala'awi comes up to meet him, getting through a power of work in the middle. Here's the Titans skipper. It's Hughes to kick towards the corner. Coates up against Sami. Coates loses it backwards. Play on. Fires it out the back. That could have been a problem had it gone to Brimson, who wasn't too far away from it for the Gold Coast.
Yeah, once again, Coates come up with the play. He's flicked it back inside. You mentioned about some of the changes for the Titans. Whilst all that was going on, Brian Kelly has come off. Jaden Campbell has moved out to that left-hand side centre position. So Holbrook obviously thinks that he can do a job and create something out there, but Melbourne Storm have missed that. They've got big Reema Smith out on that right-hand side, trying to isolate Jaden Campbell. Stems all off the back of Kieran Foran not being there.
Foran back on deck. Isaac Liu is also back out there now. Boyd taking the ground for not the first time off the back of a kick, and it will be another penalty against Melbourne. The second time in this game they've been pinged for the same infringement.
Vulnerable position.
Well, what's that going to do anyway? Just pushing him over like that after he's kicked downfield. Just a push.
Well, he's in the air block, so that's the rule, isn't it? I mean, you can't do that. You can't push the guy off balance whilst in the air. You can go through the tackle. As Tanner Boyd approaches the ball, he's going to take the 2 points. But Craig Bellamy will be very unhappy with what he's seen. 20 minutes remaining, still a long time left in this game for the Melbourne Storm.
They've got to snap out of it, Corey, haven't they? They haven't come out in the second half. Just dawdle their way out. Long second half, or long half time break, 20 minutes.
Hey, mate,
just haven't come out of the sheds.
Penalties, all the Titans in the second half. 4 straight there, along with all the points as well. They scored 2 converted tries, one to Vuna, one to Shop. And Harry Grant, with 20 minutes remaining here, with the break off the back of this, the midpoint of this second half, Melbourne staring down the barrel of a 1-2 record, and with no certainty that Cameron Munster is fit to go next week when they take on the Tigers. That one down at Amy Park. From beside the uprights. Boyd, another nice strike. He makes it an 8-point game here. We've had 3 quarters gone. It's the Titans 32, Melbourne Storm 24, and they are in a world of trouble here, the visitors this afternoon.
It's been a really good afternoon from Tanner Boyd. I think he's handled himself really nicely. There was a lot of talk over the summer with Toby Sexton, and if he was going to be the halfback or was it Tanner Boyd. He got the opportunity through the trials. He's been heavily involved this afternoon. As we have a look at the second half tries. And it's just been error after error and ill discipline from the Melbourne Storm. That one there was Katoa just trying to offload the ball before Vuna swooped on it.
And then this one, as Hughes goes to the line, puts it down. Good pass from Pezzett, put down by Hughes. Aaron Shop, he was able to swoop and run the best part of 90 metres. Xavier Coates, he tried to peg him back, couldn't do so, and Shop scored the second try of the second half for the Gold Coast Titans to open up a big lead now at 8 points off the back of the penalty goal a moment ago, kicked by Tanner Boyd. Now, disappointing last week in the last 50 minutes of that game against the Dragons. We'll see if they manage their bench a little better. They pushed their forwards a bit deeper into the game to begin last week at Cogra. On a hot afternoon, they've tried to balance things out here this afternoon. Lara Pitt, they're in good shape, the Titans.
Yeah, just checked in with them on the fitness of Brian Kelly, who came from the field just a moment ago. They said there's absolutely nothing wrong with him. They just needed to get Kieran Foran back into the action, and they're backing Jaden Campbell in the centres. He spent a fair bit of time in pre-season training there as well. So it sounds, from their point of view, that the Tanner Boyd HIA is what set them a bit skew-iff on their bench and their interchange, but importantly, they wanted that man back out on the field.
We'll try and steer them home in the remaining 19 minutes and 52 seconds here at Cbus Super Stadium. First of 3 games coming your way today, live on Fox League on Super Saturday. There's Kelly back on the bench, just keeping the legs ticking over. Imagine he'll see some more game time before we're done today.
Got a great opportunity whilst the players were having a drinks break just to have a look at what the leaders of the Melbourne Storm team were up to and doing. Who was talking, who wasn't. The body language from where we sit in the comm box, there wasn't a lot going on, to be fair. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach this back quarter, chasing points.
And the Titans bring it out here for a wake up with the carry. Speaking to Craig Bellamy before kick-off on our pre-game show, I asked him about the response to those comments about the lack of effort last week against the Bulldogs and whether he saw a response from the team. He said it wasn't too bad in the days afterwards, but towards the back end of the week, he was a bit unsure as to what he would see here again today. They've scored 24 points. Their errors have been extremely costly. especially since the second half begun. Isaac Liu bringing it back here to almost the halfway line. Brimson taken around the shoulders and no more by Garlick, said the referee. Quick play the ball. Foran trying to find the space here between Warbrick and also Meany. Warbrick going back on this firm, fast surface. It'll bounce all the way, touch in goal. And Melbourne will get 7 plays from their 20.
Yeah, the execution there, not there for the Titans that time, but that's the right play. And kick on the fourth. Once you get up over the halfway line, when you're in front in the scoreboard or on the scoreboard comfortably at the moment, kick early, make them just go the full length if they're going to go.
Olam coming midfield for a strong carry there. Leaves Titan skittled behind him. And slowly back to their feet was Stimson. And also Chris Randall, who's just back in the defensive line now. Lena Smith takes it forward just outside the Titans 30. Grant for Hughes. Peasant's there as the next option. Meany chiming in. Liero through the hands. A lot of gain there for the Melbourne Storm, though. Come back to the middle now for Kamakamitha, playing game number 1 in his 2023 campaign, having missed the first couple of weeks with a foot tendon injury. As Peasant will kick towards the corner. Flat one here for Coates. He had a fair crack at it. Couldn't come up with it. Sami does for the Gold Coast. And the Titans hang on inside their 20. Good leap at that Xavier Coates. Big and rangy as he is, if he comes down with it, he might have just stepped his way in to score for the Melbourne Storm. Shop with a knock there. He's okay to continue on as Stimson takes a carry to the edge of the 20.
Well, some of the good ball attack that we're seeing from the Melbourne Storm just highlights the significance that Cameron Munster has on his football side, particularly going in anywhere inside 20. The time they've looked likely in this second half is off a kick to Xavier Coates.
So Isaac Liu here, almost back the halfway line. Randall feeds it for Boyd. And he lofts a kick looking up and towards the sun. Warbrick, no problems there to make the catch. Brings it back at speed. The chase was a good one from the Gold Coast. They must drop that. He has put it down, and it will be a hand in the play. The ball is the call against the Titans.
Well, Zach Campbell with the chase through there, playing left centre at the moment. They're going to challenge it.
Hey, Matt.
You've got to be pretty sure, haven't
Captain's challenge.
16 minutes remaining.
Penalties, knocking the ball out up the hill, cool.
8 points ahead, Block. It's not a bad time to do it.
Yes, mate.
Jaden Campbell
Just looking to see how the ball comes out.
His hand was in there. It looked as though that right hand had some sort of influence on the ball coming free. There it is, the back of the hand.
Jaden Campbell puts his hand through the ruck and knocks the ball out. The challenge by the Gold Coast is
No more
unsuccessful.
challenges, penalty stands. He knocked it out with his hand, mate.
Boy, that was a
Challenge, you got it right.
real risk taken there by Jaden Campbell to waste a captain's challenge. There's still a bit of time on the clock.
Well, someone's got to stand up here for the Melbourne Storm. We mentioned Munster a little bit earlier. Generally in games, you look to him if you're behind on the scoreboard to do something. He's not out there. Who's it going to be? Still enough time left.
From the halfway line, Grant, Peasant, King, Hughes, Olam, shuffle as he came towards Shop. He's in trouble here. He got to ground just in time. Shop was going to drag him into touch and to drop off as the referee screamed held. Coates takes it away from the sideline. Now he loses the ball and a second stripping penalty against the Gold Coast Titans in the space of 60 seconds. Melbourne trail here.
Would you take the 2 here?
By 8, exactly. Do you take the 2 to get it back to a converted try? There's some discussion.
There's plenty of discussion in the middle. Harry Grant looks like he wants to take the 2. Hughes is opted against.
And Ryan Hinchcliffe was out there in the blue shirt for Melbourne. I'm sure he had 2 fingers in the air at one stage, but after some discussion, they've said, let's tap it and go. Keep them under pressure and score right here. Ball pass. This one from Peasant. Luckily, they go back to clean it up. It was Warbrick who had to clean up the crumbs, but they just lost their way badly in their second half. They want to go back to half-time and start again if they could, Melbourne. Garlick, nothing doing there. Just outside the 20. Peasant now finds Hughes. First man option with Liero. Good tackle by Tanner Boyd. Right around the legs. Cuts down the big edge forward. Hughes, flat pass. Kamikamitha. Stopped there by David Fafita. A long way in from his left edge. Underneath the uprights. Grant tries to grub it. Played it. It'll be 6 more plays here as Peasant comes up with it. Set restart for Melbourne. Number of sets in a row here, penalties. And set restart on the Grant attempt at a grubber. He's there at dummy half, jumps out from that position, goes to Hughes! He ducks underneath the Gold Coast defence. He plants it down. Melbourne are still in this with a long way to go.
Well, I mentioned that there's a disjoint with their attack, particularly going in sets, and once again it's just Harry Grant just pops out of dummy half, not much doing, and just a nice little run there from Jerome Hughes. It's Hughes and Grant that are getting this team back into the game. Some poor defence from Tanner Boyd has been terrific this afternoon, one of Titans' best.
Yeah, they just reloaded back at him, didn't they? Back up that short side. He made a good tackle only a couple of tackles ago. And that's effort on effort was the problem. Right next to the ruck, Hughes. Scoring next to the ruck like that. It's a big problem for the Titans. I know they're in front of the scoreboard, but on goal, every time we've seen them go there, close to the line, 20, 30 out. Storm have looked real dangerous. They're just soft tries.
And he grabs a try to bring it back to a 4-point game with the kick to come from Meany. Remembering early in the game that shoulder charge penalty on Tanner Boyd on his clearing kick. Seems to be charged and suspended. They could be missing both Jerome Hughes and Cameron Munster next week against the West Tigers. The kick is wide, no good from Meany. That's a real miss for the right-footed there. It stays at 32 points to 28, just over 12 minutes remaining here at Cbus Super Stadium. There's that contact we're talking about from Jerome Hughes. But boy, he had some nice touches as well in the first half in conjunction with Harry Grant. Jonah Peasant was able to put Katoa away there. And will score on the next play after Nick Meany went close as one play previous. He uses his strength there from close range with a tackle of Boyd and also Stimson. It's for the difference, 32 to 28. We've had 60 points here on a hot March afternoon on the Gold Coast. Kamikamitha. Contact clearly through the microphones live here on Fox League as they came together. Isaac Liu involved there in the tackle. Now Liero. Similar effort by Mikey Fodelwaker around the hips there, the big front rower. Bronson Garlick in a running role. He can fill time at dummy half as well, but they need Harry Grant on deck for all 80 minutes here today. That's Katoa. Back in Titans territory on the last. A bit of a delay in the play of the ball. Hughes, as a result, was under pressure. Not a great kick. They'll let it bounce, or in fact be taken there by Warbrick. It comes back to Grant. He puts a second kick in. Problem here for the Gold Coast. Boyd scrambling, gets there just in time to keep it in the field of play.
Well, certainly did have a couple of times tonight, or this afternoon, cleaning up, got himself back in the field of play a little bit earlier, Tanner Boyd. That time he reads the play. No real chases after the Harry Grant kick. And he cleans up at the back for the Titans.
Gold Coast bring it back to almost their 30. It's Fodelwaker, and he's put it down here. Backwards is the call. You heard Grant Atkins asking the question of the sideline officials as to whether that was forward or backwards. Play on the call. Boyd does some dancing, puts a kick in. Warbrick looking up into that sun. That wasn't an easy catch to make. Slipped over, coming back inside his own 20, and bulldogged back by Jaden Campbell. Giving away some size in that contest. Good contact from the lightweight.
Well, they're still yet to hit that right-hand side and really try and isolate Jaden Campbell. He comes up with a really good tackle on Warbrick, as you mentioned. But Remus Smith, 6'3", around 105 kilos. up against Campbell. As Kamakamitha now lines up for it.
Inside the 40 when he plays it. Now it's Katoa. What's happening there? Maybe 5 metres only on that carry. Hughes down the short side again. Another midfield bomb. Brimson coming forward. He's on a bouncing ball earlier in the half. Chase wasn't a great one there from Melbourne. Mildred pushing through was a lone wolf in the end. It was Harry Grant who makes the stop. And AJ Brimson. Khan Pereira comes in field. Toa is able to wrap him up. Boyd wanted to shift it there. Nothing doing for the Titans. No shape on this right-hand side. So Shop.
I think that's the old-fashioned who wants it. Look at them now. The whole team just inside those scrum lines in the middle third of the field. Plenty of fatigue for the Titans. Trying to protect this lead.
Take another simple carry through a forward here while they get themselves organised on either edge of the field. It's been so hot this afternoon. Both teams doing it very tough, undoubtedly, at this point of the game. The kick from Boyd goes down towards Coates. Sami there in a spoiling role, just flying through, trying to put Coates off. And Xavier Coates makes a good catch. Olam on the next play. Bounces off the shoulder there of Fonoweka. Suamala grabs a hold of him and tries to drag him backwards to slow play the ball. Titans winning that contest. In this contact as well. 3 plays gone. Melbourne still just outside their own 20. Oh, put down here and put down by Tarek Sims, who scored as a Melbourne Storm forward. Just his second touch. Playing in his first game this season. That's potentially an expensive error here at their own 20.
Well, he just come back onto the field, Tarek Sims, for his second injection into this game. And error after error has just cost Melbourne Storm. And 8 minutes remaining in this game. What can the Titans do? They just need to remain and put a little bit of pressure on.
Telling in itself that Craig Bellamy is that resigned look sitting there in the chair. Normally he'd be up and about, swearing a blue streak.
Well, it's just been the way they've gone about their business. Yes, they're missing Munster, and that's significant, but they've still got enough class and star power in their team. But it's just the way that they look. They look out enthused, they look disinterested at different times.
Going to be interested here defensively. The Titans have it. Campbell playing it, comes back to Fasua Mala'awi. Little step off the left foot there, had Harry Grant under pressure. In fact, it was King making the tackle downstairs with Sims. Isaac Liu charges at them. Looking for the quick play the ball here to have Melbourne scrambling on their own line. Wide pass for Boyd, goes out the back, forward under pressure there. Remus Smith coming up quickly, is able to hit him and stay with him and wrap him up one-on-one importantly. 2 plays remaining. Suamala-Awi coming back to the short side for Fita, up against Hughes for a moment there. Still pumping the legs. Katoa stops him, but only just. We've got one more play. Comes back to forward. Kick it, chip it in fact, for AJ Brimson, makes the catch, pumps it off, it comes out here, Shop will put it down. A catch by Brimson. He passed from the ground but wasn't tackled. The Gold Coast score. They open up a big gap once again.
Good, nice little kick from Foran, spent some time on the sidelines this afternoon. He comes back, and at a real crucial stage, you want the money man with the ball in hand. A beautiful little crossfield kick to this right-hand side. He's off the back of Fasua Mala'awi, and Fafita went oh so close before Foran puts a nice little kick. AJ Brimson able to come up with the ball, goes down, play on, and shot.
Yeah, good awareness there from AJ Brimson. Not a hand laid on him here. They let go, plays on, passes the ball off the ground. I think Shop was as surprised as anyone. Watch the way he puts the ball down here. He thinks, hello, they're going to call this back, surely. No, there it is.
It was pretty simple stuff in the end. Those Melbourne Storm defenders in the middle of the field, and Sami only had to come away to Aaron Shop. For a moment, he's going to regain his feet and try and bring it round back behind the post. But he put it down to the coach's relief. 36-28. We've only got 5 remaining here. Melbourne now very much.
Well, you wouldn't really say it's been great play from the Titans. They've done well scoring on the stroke of half time and then got on with it in the second half. It's been all the errors from the Melbourne Storm. Uncharacteristic too, isn't it? Tanner Boyd will throw this one over.
Melbourne contemplating a 1-2 record. Boyd adds the extra 2.
Well, coming into this match this afternoon, the Melbourne Storm were last in the competition for missed tackles, last for tries conceded, and once again 64 points in 2 weeks. Really interesting to see what Craig Bellamy was saying at the end of this game. There was plenty of criticism thrown their way in regards to how they lost to the Bulldogs last week, and once again they looked at different stages, really dominant through the period of this game. From 38 points to 28.
Go short here. Still 5 minutes remaining, and the big back by Xavier Coates. Pezzett in a race for the ball ends up with it. Aaron Clark thought he might have knocked it on. The referee disagrees, so Melbourne do get possession back. But they will need to score pretty much with this possession. Tyron Wishart is out there getting a chance at the death. It is very much all hands to here for Melbourne. Grant waits a dummy half. They're flat on that right-hand side. Garlick takes a scamper. Not much happening there in the tackle of David Fafita. Grant goes back to Hughes. Wishart underneath him. Here's Pezzett with Meaney joining in. Pass for Liero. There's a flat one. Play on's the call. Olam from dummy half. Tries to find some space. He takes it inside the 10. And the Storm have one last play. Grant, short side, kicks. It needs to be good. Coates got there. It looked like he got it down, and he did. Melbourne are alive. Harry Grant for Xavier Coates. They had to score, and they do.
Well, Harry Grant once again out of dummy half. Not much doing. End of set. Finds a way to get the ball through. And Xavier Coates need another angle of that. It looks to be like he got the ball down.
Geez, they've kept going to his side too. All the second half to Coates. High ball. Here's a grubber kick through. This will tell the story.
Bunker is happy with it, and that's why. Gets the ball down just before his left forearm makes contact with the dead ball line. What a kick by Harry Grant. It looked like it might have been just too big off the boots. Crowd not happy with what they've seen on the big screen, but there was nothing wrong with what we saw there. The kick from out wide from Nick Meaney is good. It's back to a 4-point game. A try the difference at 38-34. What a scoreline we've got.
Tich.
Well, 3.5 minutes remaining. You see the replay of Coates going over in the corner. Harry Grant and Hughes have been superb for the team all afternoon individually, coming up with some brilliant plays. What have they got? 3.5 minutes remaining.
Kickoff will bounce down to be taken there by Hughes. Tarek Sims brings it back, puts on the brakes as he comes towards the defensive line there. He'll play it just outside the 10. 3 minutes remaining. 4 points the difference. Garlick quick play the ball. Now Wishart doing some dancing in the middle of the field. Pezzett taking his spot today in the halves after Wishart played in that position against the Bulldogs last week. Pezzett goes to Hughes. Here's Meaney. Long ball away to Warbrick up against Khan Pereira. He scored a couple of tries today, and he takes Warbrick into touch here. Well, it looked as though the tackle may have been completed. Melbourne still with their captain's challenge. Harry Grant racing to the referee. And he says, we will challenge that decision.
Mate,
We
we've got
have
a
to challenge.
captain's
2.5
challenge.
minutes remaining.
Matty, the ruling decision of into touch. In my opinion, it's all in one motion and at pace.
It's a big play from Campiero, who's already got a double this afternoon, giving away plenty of weight to Warbrick.
The Melbourne player he's always maintaining momentum and is dragged into touch. The challenge by Melbourne is unsuccessful.
It's always momentum.
That's a
You're always
huge
going
play.
out. Play the ball here, Titans.
Remembering that was in
Time on,
slow-mo
play
as
ball
well,
here.
the replay
Get back.
we watched there. The referee and sideline official
here.
both with the
Watch
same
the steal
opinion.
here, okay?
It was all in the one motion. The challenges are done
Let's go,
today.
everyone, Isaac.
And now the
Isaac!
Gold Coast Titans with just over 2 minutes remaining. Be able to see out the game with the ball in their hands if they can work it down here and maybe get another set of 6. At worst, you'd imagine they turn it over somewhere around about the goal line for Melbourne. They have to go 100 metres to try and get themselves out of trouble here at the death. Hero coming in, shoulder charge. Well, that will just about seal it. For the difference, Aaron Clark was saying, let's go for 2. Well, they're 45 metres out. I wouldn't recommend that decision. Use up some time on the clock.
It's just been an afternoon from Craig Bellamy's troops in Melbourne Storm. Ill-disciplined, drop ball. Dumb play there from Liero. At no stage did he look to wrap his arms up. And full credit, I mean, the Titans have had to do it very hard at different stages. Their first game, the 23 season at home, and a minute remaining on front on the scoreboard, albeit 38 points to 34. Quite a score.
Just over 60 seconds remaining here in the first of 3 on Super Saturday. It's Fonowaker. Takes it inside the 20. 38 to 34. Huge scoring afternoon on the Gold Coast. Isaac Liu. He dispensed with the defender there. It was Tarek Sims. And the referee very quickly blowing the whistle, thinking that Sims may have been hurt there. He bounced back to his feet. He looks a bit dusty though, doesn't he? This contact again as Liu just changed the angle on him. And I think we'll see him taken from the field, albeit with just 43 seconds remaining, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
Just here.
No doubt he was a little dazed there.
Yeah. Marcus.
Good decision by the Melbourne trainer.
Harry.
Tarek Sims from the field. 43 seconds remaining. 3 plays left in this set for the Gold Coast. Going to be 3 carries of the ball.
Brunson up.
And turn it over if they do turn it over, with maybe 1 play left for Melbourne. You doing exactly that. Is 5 metres out. Here's the last. Inside the final 30 seconds. Clark from dummy half. They won't surely risk a kick. They don't. Brimson takes the tackle. They're inside the 10. And Melbourne might get 1 play, maybe 2. Olam takes a carry.
Well, they've got to come up with more than just a carry. 15 seconds to go. It's just a 1 out of goal.
This will be the last play here. Melbourne need to score right here. Grant puts it down. It ends in a similar fashion as it went for the entire second half of Melbourne. Another error. The Titans have a second win in 2023. They open up their home accounts with a win against the highly regarded Melbourne Storm at full time here at Cbus Super Stadium. The Gold Coast 38, Melbourne 34.